Hey folks, welcome to the Quarterdeck Arcade. I'm not starting out at the desk today. I'm going to go right into this because it's probably going to take me a while. I hope you all are having a wonderful Sunday, wonderful weekend. I am having a restful weekend after you all know I took a trip to Indianapolis to say a final farewell to my brother. And so I got back on Friday afternoon, and I'm, I just took the last couple of days to catch my breath and get ready for the work week, which is coming up here shortly. So, good morning, everybody. Ted, welcome. Thumper Squid, welcome. I appreciate you guys jumping in the stream. What we're going to do today is we're going to put together the a GRS Build-A-Cade with for the Raspberry Pi. And it says it right on it, arcade cabinet kit for Raspberry Pi. And I believe he also has a version for his Viper board. I have not tried one of those yet, but I would love to down the road. But since I'm familiar with working with Raspberry Pi, I'm just going to continue to do so. I have 6 of these on hand, ready to go. And so let's just get right to it. Let me give you a tour of what I have here. Okay, I have the actual GRS Build-A-Cade with for the Raspberry Pi. And then here's the Raspberry Pi. It's a Raspberry Pi 3B. And it's just the board. I have 6 of these on hand. 3 of them I bought on my way back from Indianapolis. So I have all the Raspberry Pis I need. And for my purposes, people probably ask, excuse me, why do I do a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus? Well, when there's later versions available. Well, for my purposes, the 3B Plus is all I need. I'm just a retro gamer. I like 80s arcades. And a 3B Plus will be fine for what I'm doing. So we've got the Raspberry Pi. And then here we have a USB-C power supply, 5-volt, 3-amp for the Build-A-Cade when it's eventually built. I'll eventually be these are actual wall jack power supplies. I'm probably going to switch over to USB power so I can use some of my New Wave Toys USB charging devices in my miniature arcade. But for now, for my purposes, these will work just fine. And I think they're like $9 on Amazon. I'll update this stream with links with everything that I'm using today so that you all have a reference point. The other thing I have also from GRS, these are the accessory control panels for the GRS Build-A-Cade. You have your dual joystick, your 5-button joystick, your spinner control, which is also it comes with the driving wheel that fits on top of that. And then I have a trackball control panel. So what we're going to be using today is the dual joystick control panel. And the reason why, and I'll point out my next purchase, is the Karate Champ artwork. I bought the Karate Champ artwork. I believe I'm going to get this wrong. I know I am, but I believe I got it from Arcade Graphics on Etsy. So I'll have a link to where I got this artwork for the Build-A-Cade. And so yeah, I'm going to build myself a Karate Champ. One thing I gotta get a drink of water. Oh my goodness. I don't see my chat moving, so I hope if anybody's saying anything, I'm able to see it. I've got my okay. All right, so knocking things around here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside since I've picked the control panel that I'm going to use. This is my artwork. And it's beautiful. It looks great in person. And so when you buy from this gentleman off of Etsy, he gives you the artwork for all of the provided control panels, except Glenn also has a 6-button control panel that's sold separately from that kit I just showed you, and that artwork is not provided in here. So so you would just have to be careful and make sure, because when you order from this gentleman, if you're trying to put together a cabinet with that 6-button control panel, there's no artwork for that. You'll have to try and mention that when you order. Okay, so I'm going to set the artwork aside for a moment. We'll come back to that because we're going to do the artwork before we get into the major build, because it's easier to apply the artwork right off the bat. I've got my tools. This is kind of a micro tool kit. That's what we're going to be using today because a lot of the screws in this kit are very small. And if you all saw my previous GRS Build-A-Cade live stream, you know what a disaster it was. I screwed up the ribbon cable going from the monitor to the Pi. And it is a tight fit, so you got to kind of work the box out. I guess it really doesn't matter if I rip it or not. It's already ripped. So let's just go ahead. There is a little box damage here, but I know already how well these kits are packed, so I'm not fearful of any damage. Okay, so let's crack open this puppy. So this is the GRS Build-A-Cade box. As you can see, well padded. It comes in layers. So we're going to go through each layer. All right, we've got our instruction manual. I'm going to follow that. So I'm going to pull the instruction manual out. It's a great manual. Gives you step-by-step how to put this thing together, and it's very thorough. So I think Glenn and his people did a really good job on this documentation. Get your parts, standard parts list. So set that aside. Okay, we've got our artwork and our side panel. And it comes with its own artwork, but we're not going to use this. We're going to use our own artwork today. We're going to use that Karate Champ artwork. So we're going to set the artwork aside. we have one control panel. So we're going to come back to that because we're going to apply the artwork right away. This is the marquee. You've got your lit marquee backlight here. And so this is basically the top of the art, or no, actually it goes like this. The cable feeds up through here and then goes to here. And then your marquee will be across here when it's fully assembled. Here's our actual monitor. I forget what the exact dimensions of this are. 4.3-inch DSI display, 800 by 480 IPS, capacitive touch, but it's a very tiny monitor. Set that aside. And then to finish off the top layer, we have the SD card, the 32 gigabyte SD card that comes with it, and an adapter in case you need to insert it into another port to access the data. So we'll remove layer 1. Now we're at layer 2. We have all the cables. These are the main wire harness for the GRS Build-A-Cade. And we'll set that there. This is the SD card extender that goes from the Raspberry Pi to the back panel of the GRS Build-A-Cade, and basically allows you to insert and remove the SD card for the GRS Build-A-Cade without having to take the whole thing apart. All right. And here we have our monitor frame. This is where the monitor is going to be to screw in. And we have various artwork. We have the GRS, the standard artwork that comes with the GRS Build-A-Cade. It just says Build-A-Cade for the marquee. You've got your standard control panel that comes with the kit. It's got Glenn's logo up here on the right. And so you've got your player 1, player 2, A button, and joystick. And then there's also a bezel art that matches the side art. And we're not going to use that, so we're going to set it aside. And we're going to pull out this. This is our right side panel. Let me know if the chat's working, guys. And let me know if you can hear me, because I want to make sure everything's okay. Nobody's chatting. So I just want to make sure you all see me and you all hear me before I get too deep into this, if I need to fix something. Okay, now we're at the third level of the box. And here we have all of our accessories and screws. Got a package of, and you can see how tiny all of these screws are, and they're labeled. That's one good thing about this kit, is everything is labeled. Okay, thanks, Ted. I appreciate it. All right, we've got here our dust covers, our ball tops, and rubber feet for the bottom of the GRS Build-A-Cade. Another part of the monitor mount right there. I kind of forget where this goes. We'll find out in the documentation. This is the coin door. And the coin door, these act as actual buttons. I forget which buttons they actually are. They're coin in and they're coin in buttons is what they are. So when you want to add a credit, you press the button, and that goes on the front. I'm not quite sure where this one goes, or this one. Here's our control panel. This is the control panel that comes with the kit. You got your joystick, your player 1, player 2, and your A button. So we're not going to use this. We're also going to set that aside. Actually, we'll just leave it in the box. Here's the cable that I messed up on my original stream. So This is the DSI ribbon cable, and it goes from the Raspberry Pi to the monitor. And I screwed up because I wound up breaking the cable, and I tried forcing this ribbon cable to stay in, and in the process screwed up both. So we're going to go really slow when it comes to this part right here, this DSI ribbon cable here. I'll try to do a little close-up. Perspective, perspective. There you can kind of see it. It's really tiny. And if you have big hands, it's kind of hard to work with. So I'll set that aside. Here is the back panel. And we are definitely going to use this. So here's the back panel. Here's our external SD card. The SD card cable that I previously showed you here will screw into this, and so therefore you then have access to insert and remove the SD card without having to take the thing apart. And then you've got menu navigation on the back as well. That's really a nice feature that Glenn added to this thing. If you ever lose the joystick or you don't have the proper controls attached, you can navigate the menus using this. And then you have a button 1 and a button 2 also on the back. Your volume control, you've got 2 USB ports, power on and off, and then your power input, which is USB-C. So, and then down here is our HDMI connector, where we can actually connect the GRS Build-A-Cade to an HDMI output source, and you can play these games on your big screen TV if you want. So that's our back panel. All right, we're not going to use the control panel. And then we're down to the 4th level of the box. And again, I can't compliment them enough on how they did packing all of this stuff together. It's neatly packed, it's safe. So I was not concerned about all the damage on this box because I knew how well it was packed. So here we have our base, our speaker out. So the speaker actually, the audio actually exits through the base, and then those feet that we got in the package there will go on the bottom here. So that's the base. This would be the coin door. This would be the front of the cabinet. The coin door will pop into here. Here's the actual lithium battery. I think it's lithium. Got your little connector. And that will connect into the base of the GRS Build-A-Cade. Yeah, Danny, I do like to tinker. And I like doing these live so you guys can see the flaws and about how I go about stuff. This would be the HDMI extension cable, and this is going to go from the Raspberry Pi, and this screws into the back panel that I just showed you for your HDMI out. And then various other cables that will connect to the Raspberry Pi, your audio cable, your USB cables, and a couple of other cables. So your cables. This is basically a brace that goes in the middle of the GRS Build-A-Cade to help tidy things up inside and help reinforce the cabinet, keep it together. This is your marquee cover that you would attach your artwork to. Hey, Moat, how you doing? Glad to see you. Yeah, I like to do things live because then I don't want to go back and edit the stuff. So I could have done it, recorded, but that's a lot of work. So I'm lazy. So we're gonna do it live. I got nowhere to go today, so it's a as you probably already know, it's a miserable day up here. So Nothing better to do. And this is the bezel glass, and it's got some protective coverage on it, so we'll remove those. But the artwork, the Karate Champ artwork that I'll get will go on top of this. So that's basically it. The box is now empty. We've gone through all 4 levels. I'm going to repack the box since I've gotten everything I need out. Hey, Stock Jock, welcome. Yeah, they are fun. If you caught my first stream, one of my first streams, I dived right in to do a live build of a GRS Build-A-Cade, and it didn't go well. And I kind of felt bad. Part of it was my fault, and I just vowed to make another attempt eventually. I got the first one built. That's sitting upstairs. That one is a Miss Pac-Man skin, and I think I've posted pictures of it to the channel. All right, so we're going to do artwork now. And I kind of screwed up the artwork that I bought. These control panel boxes are also well packed. I mean, you really gotta work them out. Okay, so we've got our dust protectors and ball tops. We've got provided artwork, standard GRS Build-A-Cade artwork. And then we've got the actual control panel. So the reason why we're using a twin stick, because I'm putting together a Karate Champ. So, and you can buy an external control panel, USB interface control panel that these can easily be taken in and out of. And I've got one of those upstairs. I just don't want to make it a part of this stream. So we're going to skin that. We don't need the artwork. Actually, let's go ahead and skin it. Let's just do this step by step, eh? So, looking at my Karate Champ artwork, I need this one. So let's peel that off right away. And let's stick that on there. See, and the tricky part is getting it on there where it doesn't look screwy. I think I'm a little off, but it doesn't look too bad. And why did I choose Karate Champ for my next GRS build? Because I love Karate Champ. I played it a lot. There was a Karate Champ where I worked, actually. I worked in a grocery store. In the grocery store lobby, we had a Star Wars sit-down, and then we had a Karate Champ. And those 2 games I played quite a bit. All right, so we've got our control panel skinned. Hey, PD7, welcome. Thanks for throwing people my way. I appreciate it as always. Fun stream playing Simpsons. I would love to get a Simpsons back in here so I could play you sometime. Yeah, you're right, Stock Jock. It is a bit tedious. So the reason why I said in my description of this stream was that it may be a long stream is because I want to take my time with it. I got nowhere else to go today. I ate before the stream, so I hunger shouldn't creep into it. All right. Hunger shouldn't be an issue, in other words. But you all can tag along for the ride if you like. Jump in and out when you want. Come back and watch it later. I'm looking for the artwork. He doesn't have you. Couldn't remember what step the actual artwork was done, and that's what I'm just basically flipping through here. Pardon my thumbing through. All right, so he makes artwork optional. Okay. I had a sandwich, Danny. Sandwich and some pretzels. All right, so let's go ahead and do the side panels here. And I kind of screwed up the artwork, and I'll show you where I did. I was trying to flatten this art out because it comes in a rolled up tube, and I put it upside down on this surface, and it somehow the corner got bent up, and it's not sticking. So if I have to put a piece of clear tape up there, I will, but I'm not going to worry about it. So let's just separate this before we peel it off. I apologize. I probably should have done this before, but it's not. Oh, I'm gonna have to get some scissors because it's not perforated all the way around. Okay. Don't cut the artwork. Okay. Normally this would be perforated so that you could pop it out and use it, but at least that's what I remember the Miss Pac-Man being like, but I could be wrong. Okay. Okay, now you want to get it lined up however you want it. I tend to try and get the artwork as close to the front as possible and leave the leftover in the back because it's a little off by a little. You want to make sure that your edges are covered by the artwork. And then what you're going to do, I should probably peel this tape off first before I get it lined up. So I've got my standard plumber's or painter's tape. And we all know what we use this for. If you've ever applied artwork, you know what painter's tape is, because it's the best tape you can use to temporarily hold your artwork down. Just want to get this lined up as best as I can. And then I always just go for the middle. I might trim a little bit more off of that side there. Sometimes I wonder if I had the same thing that afflicted my brother. Shaky hand syndrome. Okay. I'll put another piece of tape on the side here. Again, making sure it's lined up the way I want it. All right, so what we're going to do now, and this goes for when you're doing like 3/4 scale artwork. What you're going to do is you're going to start peeling your artwork back, and then you want to cut this piece off. Same concept applies for like doing a 3 scale. This is where a second person would help. I did it all by my lonesome with the Miss Pac-Man, so there we go. So we're going to cut that off. And we're just going to let it fall. And this is small enough that I don't need a credit card or anything. I can just go over it with my finger. Okay. We can take the tape off now. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing. Well, this time we're just going to peel it back and then just take the rest of it off. So we'll peel it and kind of slowly guide it into place, working out any air bubbles in it. You really don't get many air bubbles with this size. I work back and forth with the artwork. Running my finger from side to side just to even it out. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And I just run my fingers over it really quick just to get it. Boom. One side done, eh? Looks pretty good. Now, those of you who are familiar with nostalgia and familiar with the original Karate Champ cab, I believe it was black with just the blue, with a blue logo, or this was just like one part of the black cabinet. It was kind of like what are those Street Fighter cabinets, HS5s? It's almost HS5 like, where you just have the square artwork with the Karate Champ on it. I believe that's what the originals used to look like. I don't think I ever saw a fully skinned blue Karate Champ in the field. I could be wrong about that, but And I apologize if you're hearing me drink. I don't have my mute button. Hockey Town, welcome. I will tell you, I've seen relatives I haven't seen in decades. I mean, that's for real. I left Indianapolis to go to the Navy in 1984, and I go back to visit, but I only see my brothers really every time I go back. So it was really great to see people that I haven't seen in decades. My brother's ex-wife was there, and I have literally not seen her in 40 years. She's gotten old. So, but that happens to all of us, right? I mean, I'm sure they said the same thing about me. You were just a baby when I saw you. That's one of the comments I got. So, yeah, it was good to see them. Not under the circumstances, but that's life. Life goes on. My brother had a lot of things going on. His body just said, screw it, I'm done. And I don't blame it one bit. And from my point of view, really, I'm just happy that he's free of all that now. I mean, he's just miserable for the last couple of years. And he didn't really let on about it, but I could tell. You can tell when somebody's miserable. Yeah. But on the plus side, I got to eat at two of my favorite food joints, driving down there. Hit up Steak and Shake. Love those little fries that they have. And I had, on coming back, I had White Castle. And there's a reason why I didn't do White Castle on the way down, is because I didn't want to blow everybody out of the funeral home. All right, so we're going to do the left side panel now. Make sure it's lined up okay. I'm going to reuse the tape I used before. Knew I was going to screw that up. Final check, make sure everything looks like it's lining up correctly. Okay. All right, same deal. We're just going to peel the backing and cut it. This will probably be the only live stream. If all goes well, this will probably be the only live stream of these I'll do. There's no need for me to keep creating. I'll just build them offline and take pictures and post it to my community page. All right. And we're just going to lay it down, smooth it out, side to side, top to bottom, however you want to reference it. All the way to the edge. Making sure no air bubbles creep in, even though with this small artwork, I haven't seen any air bubbles. Okay. Great. All right, now we can take the tape off. Oh, Hockey Town. Oh, that's the other thing, guys. I got, I don't think I posted it to my community page. I did share it in the Discord, if you all are a member of the Arcades Anonymous Discord. I got this awesome sweater or a baseball jersey, and I also got the jacket. I don't have the jacket down here with me, but let me show you. I'll bring up another camera view. Let's see. This is as good as any. Let's see. Let's do cam 1 full. There we go. All right. So just modeling for you. So yeah, I chose 71 because it's the whole number of my ship. So CVN 71, USS Theodore Roosevelt. So that's the reason why I chose that number. And then, of course, if you look at the back, make sure you can see it. I put the quarterdeck name on there, also above the 71. So yeah, I feel like an adjunct member of the Arcades Anonymous now. I don't get to do their, I don't get to even be in the chat for their live streams because I go to bed so darn early, but I'll go back to my cell phone camera view. All right, finishing off this artwork. Let me look that up for you real quick because I feel bad that I didn't know off the top of my head what it was. I'm bringing up my browser. I'm pretty confident it's Arcade Graphics, but let me verify that. No, that's not it. I got it from eBay. I'm sorry. So it is Arcade Graphics. Let me pop it up here. Share window. So GRS Build-A-Cade complete graphics kit, $30 for the whole Karate Champ artwork, and it is Arcade Graphics. So it's on. He's on eBay as Arcade Graphics with an X. So that's that. Hope that helps. But I will try to put a link in to his page a little later in the description. All right, so let's finish this off. Again, working side to side, up or down, depending on your perspective. Just want to lay it down evenly. My problem is I get impatient and I just want it to go quickly. Where I'm going to have a problem now is this upper corner, which lifted off of the paper while I was trying to flatten the artwork out. So it's going to be loose, I think. It's going to pull loose. And hell, maybe that'll just add to the aesthetic of the cabinet. I don't know. Oh, no. Oh. See, I didn't do it evenly. So maybe it's going to stick. I don't know. This is the corner I'm worried about. All right. Looks like it might stick. We'll see. We'll know in a few minutes if it just peels right up on its own. Okay. Now, what do I have left to skin? I have the bezel, and I have the coin door art. I'm going to go ahead and do the coin door now. It's going to be a little tricky doing it. I did the Miss Pac-Man after the thing was built, and it was hard to do this artwork. So as you can see, the top part of this artwork is very thin. So just I'm just going to go from top to bottom here. Oh. Oh man, I'm doing lousy here. There. Okay. All right. So now we have, and what did I do? Here's the coin door. So the coin door would go right here, and it snaps into place there. So you kind of get a sense of how it's going to look. I'm not going to snap it into place right now, but that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so that piece is done. Now I have these two pieces right here that I need to do. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. I don't remember if what the orientation is on this. Hang with me, guys. I'm going to go look at my existing GRS. I might just bring it down with me so you guys can see it if you haven't already. Talks amongst yourselves. Da, da, da. Say hi to my dog Sophie. My cat. In my home office right now. And there we go. So I just want to make sure I get the bezel right, the artwork orientation right. I don't know if I can tell from this thing. So here's my existing GRS Build-A-Cade with the Miss Pac-Man artwork. This is what one of them looks like assembled. And as you can see, I have it turned on. Okay, so what I need to do is figure out well, maybe I'll just maybe I'll save the bezel for last. These last two pieces of artwork, I think I'll save because I want to make sure that I don't stick the darn stickers on upside down. You guys get that right? I'll set this right here. Okay. We've got our marquee. Oh, we could do our marquee. Where's my marquee? What to do with it? Okay, it's got to be around here somewhere. Oh, don't drop the monitor. There it is. I don't think the marquee, this plastic piece, has any. Remove protective film from both sides of the acrylic marquee. So there is a protective film on it. All right, so I'm going to just take one side of it off. And then I'm just going to peel this. Yeah, we'll do the marquee, and then the other two pieces will wait as we assemble the thing. So a little excess on the side, but I think that it'll be covered by when the thing's fully assembled. Yeah, we got a little bit of... All right, so our marquee is done. So let's move into the build, the actual build. Ted, to answer your question, it's more it's more of an aesthetic thing, like a showpiece. I do play them every now and then. The nice thing, Ted, I will say about this is it has the GRS Build-A-Cade with the Raspberry Pi has the HDMI out capability. So you can run an HDMI cable from the back of it, put it in HDMI mode, and then you could plug it into any TV and play it on a big screen. You can also connect any external USB controller to the USB ports on the back. So you can literally turn this into a game box and play it with a regular controller, handheld controller, and a big screen TV. So all right, let's get into it, eh? We're going to start from step 1. All right, assembly instructions. Let's move these pieces out of the way. So, step 1, unpack all parts and confirm each with the parts list. Yeah, we didn't confirm it, but we did unpack everything. Apply artwork to screen bezel F1. That would be this. Left side A. Oh, so it's telling you apply artwork to screen bezel. So he has you apply the artwork early on in the process, probably because it's going to get assembled. Let me look. No, it's not labeled left side A. Apply artwork R to screen bezel, acrylic marquee. Left side A and right side G, which I don't see anything embedded in the plastic, which would tell me that. All right, well, all right, so let's move into the build. So first thing it wants me to do is put the rubber feet on, and that's in this little packet here with the dust covers and ball tops, which we're not going to use. It also comes with a spare key cover. All right, so let's put the feet on. All right. Okay. This is like one of the easiest steps ever, eh? Putting rubber feet on. All right. Next, we want to get the battery pack. So there's in each plastic part, he's got a part identifier and an arrow for like, not in every part, but in a lot of the parts where you're not sure what the orientation should be, he's got arrows embedded in it. I don't know if I can get it a close-up. Tilted a certain way where you could see it. It's not going to get any light in there. So kind of up there at the top, right there in the middle, you can see the K1 and the arrow. So with the wire at the rear, arrow on K1 indicates front. So this would be the front, and the wire is going to be at the rear. So secure the battery into the bottom using the battery strap K2, which is this little piece right here, which I wasn't sure what it belonged to. So the battery just seats right in there. And then we're going to put K2 on top of it to secure it in there. And then we need two M3 by 8 millimeter screws. Now this is where I'm going to have to get out my screws. Two M3 by 8 millimeter self-tapping screws. That would be these two screws right here. And it's all of these packages are labeled, which is really, really super nice, super handy. Okay, this is where I'm going to need my toolkit. We're on our way. I got too big of a screwdriver here. No. All right, and just to give you a little bit of the battery life is about 4 hours. It might be a little less depending on your usage, but I believe it's rated for 4 hours. Okay, so step 4 is complete. All right, now we're going to work on the screen assembly. So we'll set this aside for now. So we're going to get out our monitor, our screen. And there's a protective piece of plastic on it. That's what the instructions want us to do. It wants us to remove it. So we've removed that protective plastic. It wants us to set it down on a soft cloth or towel on a flat work surface, which is what we got. Set face down with a DSI connector positioned at the top. This is the DSI connector, and this is where I screwed up before. The DSI connector, it just lifts straight up. And then you push it back down to secure it. Where I was getting screwed up was I was trying to yank this thing down, and I broke it off. So Glenn was kind enough to send me another monitor, and I really appreciated that. Attach the screen mount F2 to the screen. The part number F2 is all right. So we got to follow the directions here. Set the screen face down with the DSI connector positioned at the top, so it's at the top. The reason why we have to follow the directions is because we got to get the orientation correctly. Attach the screen mount F2 to the screen M with 4 screws. The part number F2 is on the left side. All right, so it just slips right in there in the monitor, and then these 4 places are where we're going to get the screws. So the screws we need are 4 M2.5 by 5 millimeter. That would be these screws, S3. It even gives the part number, so it's written on the bag. You can't miss. Of course, the bag's so small, I'm having trouble getting them open. Could always just grab scissors, but where's the fun in struggling, eh? Not struggling, I should say. Okay. So we're going to attach the Tighten it. I do appreciate everybody watching. Obviously, you've got nothing better to do on a Sunday. I'm just joking. I do, like I said, there's a reason why I do these live as opposed to cutting a edited video together, because it's just a lot of work to do that. I mean, all of the pros in the YouTube community will tell you how tedious it is to make a video. And some of these guys have been doing it for a long time and have routines down on how to do it. But I do it, do it live, get it in the cloud. It's there. People can skip around however they want, All right, so our monitor is attached to the bracket, the support bracket. That was step 5. Now we move to step 6, and now we're going to secure the screen bezel. That would be this, to the top. So the overhang is on the top. All right, so looking at the picture, the DSI connector's here, the overhang is on the top. All right, so now that I know that, I'm going to take a pause here and I'm going to put the artwork on. Now that I know that this is the top, I'm going to go ahead and plaster the artwork on there. Ooh, be careful. This part, because I put the artwork on the Miss Pac-Man while it was built, sticking this bezel artwork on there was so hard. Oh, this is where it's going to get tricky. Ooh, did I just do that like... It was almost dead on perfect. Not 100%. Gotta work with it here in the corner. Ah, come on, baby. Be kind to me. Again, you got to work it so that there's nothing peeking up. Oh, man, I'm screwing it up here big time. Well, I kind of screwed up like right here. I don't think it's going to be noticeable. All right. Oh, I didn't realize my big shirt was blocking the camera view. Sorry, guys. All right, so let's screw this in, and it just slides right over it and snaps into place. So again, I'll show you. You see these screw posts right here. There's holes for them in the monitor bracket mount. So just slide it in, and then we're going to attach it with screws. So we're attaching the bezel to the screen mount using 4 M2.3 by 6 millimeter screws. That's not it. That would be this bag, and these are even more tiny. That would be S4. Yes, that's S4. So we need 4 of these. All right. Trying to do this so y'all can see it. Okay. All right. So we have our display and our oh, see, I put, oh, you know what? I put on the Miss Pac-Man, oh, this is going to look stupid. I put it on the glass. See, there's going to be that plastic that's going to go. So do I leave it as is and just put the plastic over it? Or do I peel this off and stick it on the glass? Actually, in the build instructions for the artwork that is applied, it has you apply it to F1, which is this piece. So I'm doing it right this time. I did it wrong on my Miss Pac-Man. So, all right. So it's right the way I did it here. I screwed it up on this. I can fix that later if it bugs me enough. All right, so we've got this done. Now it wants me to put. Now we're on to step 7. We need to insert and tighten 4 10mm standoffs. Okay. So here's our standoffs. They're gold colored. And I'm not sure which one's which, so because they came in the same package. So let's separate them out. There's a smaller group of standoffs and there's a large group of standoffs. So which one do we need? It wants us to use S1, part S1. Looking at the parts list. Okay, so the smaller one is the 10mm, the larger one is the 20mm. So we need the 10mm. So that's the smaller ones. So we need to screw those into these 4. And I'm just going to hand tighten them. I think that's all I did in the earlier one. Okay, so the standoffs are in. Step 7 is complete. Flipping the page, and here's where we get to the fun part. The DSI connector. You can get a drink of water. Again, apologies if you hear me drinking. I don't have my mute button right by me. Okay. Okay, DSI. Gently lift up the latch on the screen DSI connector. Lift it up. I've lifted it up on both sides. Where's my DSI? Here it is. So now the instructions say, gently lift up the latch on the screen DSI connector, insert the DSI ribbon cable with the blue side facing towards the top, then press down on the latch. Now, if you look at this thing, I don't see blue, I see black. So I'm going to assume that black means blue. So facing towards the top. All right, so we'll stick that in. And then press down on the latch. There we go. So the cable is now secure. Again, this is where I screwed up in the previous build that I did. I broke this piece off and that was it. So all right, so now we're gonna need the Raspberry Pi. So let's go ahead and open up our Raspberry Pi. And here's what it looks like. There's some instructions that come with it, but we don't need it. But here's our Raspberry Pi. So we have our USB ports. There's 4 of them. We have our Ethernet cable. We have our HDMI port. We have our audio port. And then power. This is power. And then this is where this ribbon cable is going to connect to. But all we're going to do now, and it's amazing how much processing power is in something this tiny, but it is pretty amazing. So the ports are going to be facing downwards. And then your DSI port on the Raspberry Pi is right here on top here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift that up carefully. There we go. All right. And it wants me to right away insert the micro SD card extension. So that's one of these cables. That's USB power cable, audio cable. This is a cable for the Pi 4, which we don't have. So here's our USB extension cable, W4, which is, oh, wait a minute. We're looking for the micro SD card. Yeah, here it is. This is what it's asking for, the L2. Again, the parts numbers are on the bags. So we needed the SD card extension cable. So it wants us to insert the micro SD extension cable, and the micro SD card input is right here on the bottom of the Raspberry Pi. So we're going to stick that in there. Make sure we get it the right way. That's not the right way. There we go. It's in. And secure the Pi to the screen using 4 20mm standoffs. So we're basically going to we're going to mount the Pi above the 10mm standoffs, and we're going to attach it with the 20mm standoffs. Okay. Okay, so the Pi is now mounted to the monitor assembly via the standoffs that are provided. I've got my SD card extension in, and then I've got the DSI cable connected to the monitor, but not yet to the Pi. Okay. Now there's an optional cooling fan, and it comes with mounting screws, but there's a pinhead for the fan, but I don't have a fan. So, and there's no need for a fan for my purposes. And I've never worked with one with a fan, so I'm not sure. But this would be the step when you would do it. You would mount it here. All right, now step 10 wants us to connect the DSI ribbon cable on the Raspberry Pi. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky because you have to work the SD card extension cable out of the way. And then you got to just slide the DSI into its slot and then press down on the there we go. So my DSI is connected and I didn't break anything this time. That's good. So it is a little bit tricky because you go from this DSI connector on the Pi to the DSI connector on the monitor. And then you've got your SD card. That's the reason why they had you put the SD card when they did, so that you could work the cable in. And you kind of got to flex it a little bit to get it outside of it, because this is going to go to the back panel. All right, that's step 10. Now we're going to plug all side-mounted cables into the Raspberry Pi. We're going to start with the power. That would be W2 for the Pi 3. So here we are. So here's our power port right here. So we're going to connect and the cables are labeled. So I know I've got the correct cable here because it's calling for W2. I have W2 here and it fits in the port. Okay. Now we're going to do the HDMI cable. That is in a separate bag. Here it is. No, we need W5, and that's for the Pi 3. Because I don't know if the Pi 4 has HDMI or not. I don't think so. But so this is our HDMI port. We're going to slide, and all of these connectors come up from the bottom of the Pi 3. So And then the audio cable, W3. That would be this one. I'm going to put that in. All right, so we've got our audio, our HDMI, and our power extensions for the Pi in. Now we need to attach, that's step 11. So we've completed step 11. Move my tape out of the way here. So now step 12 is to attach the wiring harness to the GPIO pins of the Raspberry Pi. These are the GPIO pins. With pin 40 at the bottom right of the header. Now, so this is our cable harness. And let's see. All right, so pin 40 is down by the USB ports. And there is a label on here that tells you which one is pin 40. Pin 40 on this harness is purple. So pin 40 is going to be towards on the end where the USB cables are. And it's in place. Looks snug. This looks intimidating right now, right? I mean, we got a lot of wires hanging. We got a lot going on. Got a ribbon cable. We got actually 2 ribbon cables, one for SD card and one for the DSI connector. So it's starting to look a little intimidating, but it's really not. If you follow the directions, it's going to be fairly simple. All right. So now we need to find the left side. That would be our left side, which is side A. And we're going to lay the assembly that we just put together in, and it slots right in here. I mean, there's a slot. You can see it right here. I don't know how my lighting is, but so it just slots right in here and doesn't move really. It just sits in there. So step 13, we laid slide A on the flat surface and inserted the screen assembly. So we're done with step 13. Moving on. All right. Now we're doing the marquee. So step 14 is remove protective film from both sides of the acrylic marquee. We already did one side. Let's do the other. All right. I'm going to lean that up right there. Assemble the marquee by placing the bottom marquee channel, which is D. That would be this piece right here. The top marquee channel, E, which I'm thinking is this. All right. Other way. So you got to make sure that your channel for the marquee is on the outside. right here. Here, I'll show you. So this is how this piece is assembled or shaped. What you want, there's my lighting here isn't all that great, but there's a bottom channel here, and that's where your marquee is going to slide in. So it's got to be to the outside. And again, there's a post, a screw post, that it slips right over. So it kind of only goes one way. And then same thing with the top piece. There's a channel there for the marquee. That's got to go on the outside. So that kind of goes on top. And then we just slide the marquee in. Boom. So, and there's the marquee. Okay. So that is step 14. Okay, step 15, plug the 14-pin connector from the wiring harness into the control panel assembly B. That B is our control panel. So we need to find the 14-pin connector on the harness. And these are labeled. But they're not. My gut feeling tells me that there's only one 14-pin connector on here, so let's. There. That snaps in here. Yeah, because that's too big. Yeah, so that's the only 14. There's only one, so there's only one cable in it. It's the only one that fits into the control panel. All right. So plug the 14-pin connector from the wiring harness into the control panel assembly. Set the control panel assembly into place, and this should snap right in as well. Should slot right in. Okay, now it wants us to set the front. That would be this, the kick plate, into place. Actually, you know what? I could put that artwork here. Okay. There. Starting to look like a cabinet now. Remove the protective film from both sides of the acrylic bezel and insert into the slots in the control panel and screen bezel directly in front of the screen. Okay. So we're going to peel off this blue protective coating. Trying carefully not to smudge it too bad. There we go. Little booger on there. Get off of there. All right. And there's two slots. There's one on top and one in the control panel that this goes in. There we go. Our protective plastic is in place. That's step 17. Okay, now set the right side, which is K. No. The right side is G. Mislabeled. Has to be. All right, let's see. So we've got on here, we've got our screw post. That'll be our guide for the marquee. If you got to have some patience with this. I didn't have patience the first time I did this, and it ended up in being a bad stream. But okay, so now we're just snapping things into place. It is easier to put the artwork on first, though. All right, keeping the assembly on its side, align the top H with its tracks. Arrow facing front and slide into place. This part on my first build was kind of tricky, getting it to line up. Because what's happening here is I have this little gap right here, and I haven't quite figured out what the trick is to get that to go in. Now I got one side to go in, but not. Come on, baby. I don't want to break the bezel. So I'm trying to be gentle with this. There. All right. So pull it back. Okay, now I can get the right side, but no, the left side isn't going. This is the part I really struggled with in the first build too. Getting this to line up. I'm glad to hear that, Ted. Again, patience is the key here with these GRS Build-A-Cades. If you're not computer savvy, or you're not savvy about putting these small things together, you just got to have patience. The manual is good, but where it doesn't go into great detail is how to work this top piece into place, because like I said, there's this like 1/4 inch gap here that is, you can't close it. It's supposed to go all the way up flush. Now I can get one side in, but I can't get the other. Try to go up right here and see if I can get it worked in here. Oh, no, it's coming apart at the seams. Shoot. Got to be careful with these cables and wires. You wind up crimping something and you'll have to replace it. And the nice thing about these GRS Build-A-Cades is there are replacement parts on the GRS website that you can buy separately if you need to. See, I can work either side in on their own. It's just not cooperating. What is the super secret science to this? You are being a bear. It's in the groove. Oh! Let's not break things. Okay. I love these little things, but you know, again, if you don't have patience, you're going to be in a world of hurt. All right, snapping into place. I've got H goes forward. Align the top H with its tracks, arrow facing front, and slide into place. Arrows facing front. Dog hair. It's gotta be. I'm not getting. See, I get one side going and then the other side doesn't go. That's not correct. Jesus. Starting to get frustrated. It's happening. All right, looking at this piece, there's two grooves on either side. The arrow is facing forward, sliding it into the groove. What is the trick, Glenn? My goodness. All right, I'm just going to leave it like that for now. I'll try and fix it later. Line the bottom with its tracks, arrow facing front, and slide into place. So let's put the bottom in now with the battery. Arrow facing front. Yep. So we're going to try to add some stability to this cabinet while I try to work that top part. I see now bottom goes in right, really super easy. So the bottom's in. The two sides are locked from the bottom anyway. We got our pi and all of our wiring hanging down. But this piece right here, and I remember fighting this on the Miss Pac-Man as well. Stand it up, see if that works. See, that side goes in, but this side doesn't. Everything's slotted right. The monitor is in place. That's not loose. Oh, there we go. Well, no. Nope. I need my lamp. I can't see. Looking pretty good so far, though. I mean, the artwork looks great. All right, so what's going on there? All right, so it's slotted. It's like it can't. It's like it's uneven or something. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. Oh, yay! Man, sakes alive, that was hard. All right, so the top is in now. So the cabinet is essentially held together pretty good. All right. So we did step 20, which was the bottom. Now it wants us to run the 2-pin connector and wires from the wiring harness through the opening of the LED panel. Okay. 2-pin connector from the harness. That would be this guy right here, this 2-pin connector. It wants us to run it through the opening of the LED panel. Where's our LED panel? This is our LED panel. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to insert it through this hole. And then we need to plug it in. Get my big fat head out of the way. All right, so we've connected the LED connector. And then it wants us to insert, we're going to insert the LED for the marquee. There's a slot for it right here. And that went in a lot easier. I'm going to undo this harness. I'm going to save the twist tie because I want to make sure I got the cables going okay here. All right. So the backlight is in the marquee. That's what we just did, step 21. All right, now move all the wiring aside towards the top of the cabinet and insert the center brace. That's this guy. This is the center brace, part J, into its tracks. So we're going to lift the wiring. I'm going to insert the brace in this little slot in the middle here. Okay, you got this mishmash of wires. So you're going to slide in. All right, so that center brace is in, and then you can just kind of guide the wiring back down gently. Don't crimp anything, especially that DSI cable. All right. So the brace is in. That was step 22. Step 23. Insert the USB extension, W4, that's this cable right here, into the USB ports on your Raspberry Pi. Okay. Now, I don't know. Let me put my headlamp on. That might help things, show things a little better. So what we're aiming to do is we're going to put in the 2 of the USB ports, we're going to put extensions in. And I'm just going to stick them on the bottom. So we're just inserting them in. Come on, get in the hole. There we go. So see, we've taken the USB extension and I've plugged them into the bottom ports on the Raspberry Pi. And then this will just sit here for now, the other end of the cable. Okay, now we need to attach the 8-pin connector from the wiring harness. This is step 24. Attach the 8-pin connector from the wiring harness W1 to the coin door C2. So here's our coin door. This is C2. But we first need to run the wire through the front, this front opening. So where's our 8-pin connector? This would be it. So this cable needs to go through the front. So we have our, gotta watch the wiring. Have our 8-pin connector here running through the front. It only goes in one way. So we're gonna attach it. Boom, snaps in. All right, now it wants us to pull the coin jack. or the headphone jack cover out. This is a headphone cover on it. So we need to pull it out. Then set the coin door into the front, bottom first. Then press the top into place and don't pinch the rubber. So make sure it's pulled out. Boom, snaps into place. We put our headphone jack back in. And there we have it. Voila. See, I had this problem on the first one too, where the button sticks. So this left coin door button sticks. It sticks on my first one too. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the pressure applied to the panel when you snap it into place. I don't know, but be mindful that that button might stick. And if that's I kind of work around it by either pressing at the bottom, but this one sticks more than the one on the Miss Pac-Man. The right button is fine. It's the left button. Now, if I press it off to the right, it seems fine. If I, oh, now if you press on the bottom, yeah, it seems fine now, but if you press on the bottom or the top, it sticks. That's kind of weird, but it's an eccentricity of these things that I've learned to live with. But just note that that might happen on your build as well if you do this. Just be mindful that this coin in button might stick. You just got to work it. All right, step 26. Now we're going to assemble a micro SD card connector. That's this cable right here. Okay, so we're going to start attaching the back panel. Here's our back panel, and here's where the SD card connector is going to go. It only goes one way. And what kind of screws we need? We need two M 2.3 by 6. That's these. I'm going to get the 2 screws out that I need. It's 59 degrees in this basement, guys. I'm freezing. Oh my goodness, my fingers are numb. I didn't get the heater going. I got a space heater down here that I usually run in the winter, but it's chilly. I'm not going to lie. All right, so now we're going to attach the SD card extension. And again, the top part of the SD card extension fits over the screw posts. And I missed it. All right. It's kind of tricky, and if you have an assistant to help you with this, it's always a good thing to have more than one person help you when you need it. So you just got to find the hole. I took this off too soon. It was near the top. And be careful that you're not putting tension on the ribbon cable. One of the things that I did wrong in my first build is I must have pulled on the cable at some point because the SD card extension did not work and the thing would not boot. So you got to be careful with these parts. Okay, I'm in the hole. Good. All right. So we're screwing it in. All right. So our SD card extension is in. Now we'll stick an SD card in there, and it should go right to the Raspberry Pi. So, okay. So that was step 26. Now step 27, we're going to attach the HDMI extension. So we've got our little HDMI extension here on the bottom, and that goes to the bottom. And it's upside down, so we got to twist it. Maybe go the other way. All right. First, what kind of screws do I need for that? 2 M3 by 8 millimeter. That would be these. Okay. So this screws in from the back. We got, again, a second person would probably come in handy here. Okay, got one side in. And the other side is in. All right, so my HDMI cable is connected or attached to the back panel. That's step 27. Step 28, we need to plug the audio cable extension into the audio jack. Which one's my audio? I really need this light. I hate putting tension on that cable, but I need to. All right, there it is. Here's the audio cable. So that's going to go to the audio port on the back panel. So here we have our HDMI, here we have our SD card extension, and here's the audio cable connection we just made. That's step 28. Step 29, plug the USB power cable, W2 main wiring harness. Okay, let's take this one at a time. There's 3 in here that we got to do in step 29. So it wants us to take the USB power cable, which is W2. I believe USB power cable W2, that's this. And USB power goes into the USB port below the audio cable. So I'm trying to do this so you all can see it. It's going to be a little awkward. Might want to do this before you do the audio cable, because it's on the audio cable sits on top of it. All right, so the Raspberry Pi power is connected to the board. It's right below the audio cable. And main wiring harness W1. Is that this one? Yeah. That is in this top pin port here. Plug that in there. It only goes one way because there's a notch. So, and then the USB extension W4. That would be this. This cable right here goes into this bottom port here. And I believe we'll have to flip this around. Yeah. There we go. So we're making all of our connections here. With the main power switch off, now we're on to step 30. With the main power switch off, plug the battery into the circuit board. So I'm in the off position, so yes. So then we need to find the battery cable. Which is, again, the battery's mounted in the bottom. And we need to plug it in. So we're going to plug the battery into the last remaining port on this board on the back panel, which says BAT for battery. Only goes one way. All right, snapped into place. All right, step 31. We're getting towards the end here. Carefully arrange all wiring and secure the back panel to the cabinet using 6 M3x8 screws. All right, so this is where you got to kind of be careful in seating this wiring into the back of the cabinet. Don't crimp any wires. Just push it together. Check your ribbon cables here and make sure you're not crimping them tremendously. And you just kind of squeeze it together. And then you're going to have to hold it down while you get your screws out. So I need 3x8s. Yes. All right. So let's get our 3x8 screws out. Get my screwdriver ready, and I'm going to do the middle ones first. What the heck? That screw's not going in right. Let's make sure we're lined up here properly. Okay. Okay. Now I've copied an image from this first Build-A-Cade, and I'm going to insert it here. And that's going to be how I'm going to initially boot it up. But we can go through the actual setup of the SD card that comes with it, just so you all see what that looks like. All right. So we've done the artwork already. So there's our cabinet, basically. Artwork on the bottom. I think this panel right here is the one I had the most problem with. You know, getting the artwork on when it was already put together. It's better to put this artwork on before you slide this coin panel in. Okay, so let's do the dust covers. I'm just going to use the one that came with. Okay. All right. So we've got our player 1, player 2. We've got an A button on here, and then we've got our 2 joysticks. All right. So all right, so here's the moment of truth, folks. We're going to get out our power supply. And this is what this power supply looks like. So what I like about this power supply is it comes with it has a switch in line. So so you got your jack, you've got your USB-C end, you've got your power end, and then you got your power switch there. So we'll go ahead. Oh. And we'll plug in the USB-C power. I'm going to bring my power up here so that, because the cable's not that long. So I got my handy dandy power strip. And I don't know if you can kind of see it, it's kind of small. But on the back, there's a red LED saying the battery is charging. So we've got power. Appears to be working. So you can use the Build-A-Cade while it's charging. The battery, so when the power's off, there's no LED. When the power's on, you get a green light. Power charger connected, power off, charging red light, which is what we just saw. Fully charged would be a green light. And then power on, it'll be an amber light. And then fully charged green light. So amber light while charging when it's powered on. And it recommends you fully charge the battery before you attempt to do what we're about to do. So it may start to reboot randomly. If that happens, then I may not be able to go into the demo portion of this, but we'll see. Okay. So our power is off. Now we're going to insert the SD card in. If I remember how to open this. There we go. So this is the SD card. Pop it in so it snaps into place. And we'll turn it on. And we see our marquee lit up. And did I screw up another ribbon cable? Or is it just not charged enough? Well, I got nothing. Beautiful cabinet though. It could be that it's not charged enough, because the manual does say if the battery is at a low charge, the system may not boot and will restart repeatedly. Fully charge the battery and or use with the wall adapter not included. If the battery loses charge while the system is on, it will spontaneously shut off. I could see the monitor turn on, so I know the monitor's got power. Yeah, Ted, it looks great. I love the artwork. Just got to get it to boot up. All right, so I'm going to try my, oh, wait a minute. Got a color screen in there. Ah, here we go. All right, so I just needed to be more patient. So what it says is it's saving boot files to memory. So we're going to wait here, see what it does. I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit so you get a better look at this. Excuse my moving the camera around. Okay, network access is required to use PIN without local images. Please select your Wi-Fi network on the next screen. And you can use this to move the mouse, or you can connect your own mouse. I do have that, but most of you folks aren't going to have a keyboard and a mouse connected to this. You can connect a keyboard and mouse to these two USB ports on the back. Actually, I zoomed in so you can't see them, but on the back, you've got your two USB ports right here. So you could plug a mouse and a keyboard in there and use those to properly navigate a Windows menu. All right. So it's going out, finding my Wi-Fi network. I'm going to select. Well, I am going to need a keyboard for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect my keyboard and mouse. So this is what you would do setting up the Build-A-Cade from the box. I have my own SD card I'm going to pop in there, and we'll do that last. I'm plugging in my keyboard. I'm plugging in my mouse. What happened? Why did it go all dim on me? What the hell? The monitor went all dim on me. All right. Let's try starting over. I hope it will. Zero, I would put it at probably a 6 or a 7, depending on your skill level. Maybe even an 8. But, you know, once you do a couple of them, you get, it's like an arcade 1-up. I mean, once you build a couple of them, get a couple of them under your belt, it's pretty simple. All right, so I've got the mouse. If I can get a flat surface going. There we go. So I've connected a mouse. I'm going to put my password in. Which I have a keyboard connected. It's much easier. So now it's connecting to my Wi-Fi. Okay, there's instructions here. All right, so once the pin initializes, which is the installer, select your language and keyboard settings from the menu. Yeah, English US. Okay, I'll select English US. Keyboard is US. Next, you got to check the box next to the operating system. There's only one choice, which is the Build-A-Cade 3. Build-A-Cade 3 RetroPie OS for Build-A-Cade using Raspberry Pi. Then we want to click Install. And then it's just warning you that all existing data on the SD card will be deleted. Say yes. And then it's beginning the install process. So I got to say, this installation is pretty well put together. So this is what you'll see when you initially set up your Build-A-Cade and attach it to your Wi-Fi network. I do highly recommend you connect an external keyboard and mouse. It's just easier to navigate these menus. You don't need to keep them connected. Once you've got everything set up and you've got your games loaded that you want, you're only going to rely on your player 1, player 2, and your joysticks. Unless you're like me and you're tinkerer and you're constantly messing around in menus. The only time you would probably still need a keyboard is when you want to work in the RetroPie setup menus. So that's going to go to like an ASCII based menu, and you're going to need your arrow keys to navigate those properly. And you'll need the arrow keys and you'll need the enter key to select. But your mileage may vary. Again, I only needed to do that because I needed to install some additional options in RetroPie to get like the Laserdisc games running and to get Daphne installed and a couple other things. But I needed another version of MAME to run some hybrid ROMs that enable fast speeds, like the fast Pac-Man and the fast Galaga and the fast Miss Pac-Man. So I needed a different version of MAME for that. And so I had to install that. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to put together my own image and just copy it. It's just easier than have to go through all that stuff all over again. So this is taking a little bit to install. Yeah, I love this artwork. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful cabinet. Again, this artwork is from Arcade Graphics on eBay. $30. It turned out really nice, and even the little mistake I had up here when I tried to flatten the artwork out and crimp this corner, it's actually holding pretty well. So I'm not really worried about it. So we're at 14%. This is creeping right along. I do have my imaged SD card right here standing by. So I'm going to let this finish. And you do have a lot of spare parts. So I tend to just put them all in one of the larger plastic bags, and if I need them, I'll reference them. I don't know. Trying to do a little cleanup here while I had some extra S10. Whenever I have extra screws, I get worried. But I'm pretty sure everything. I'm pretty sure I used the screws that I needed to use. 37%. I'm not building all 6 today. No, zero. And by the way, welcome. No, I'm not built. No, that would take me all day, and I'm not. No, I don't have artwork for the other 5 that I have. So I'm going to decide what my next artwork package is going to be, and then I'll do these. I'm not going to do a live stream for every one of these either. So I just wanted to do this one to go from artwork application to build and then initial setup, and then I'll build the other 5, at my leisure. If I want to do a video to point something out, or maybe a YouTube short or something, maybe I'll do that. Unless you guys want me to do live builds of these things, and maybe I will. We know what to expect, right? Oh, doing all this talking. We're about 2.5 hours. on the stream now. Not bad, considering my arcade 1-ups can go like 3 or 4 hours, depending. So once this installation finishes, it's writing the RetroPie image to the SD card is what it's doing. It's downloading it and applying it. So there's going to be one free game on there, which is, I believe, Robbie Roto. And then you go out there and you load your games as you wish. And if you want, I can show you how to access the folder where you would store your ROMs. I don't have any ROMs handy on this streaming laptop down here, so I can't show you how to actually do it, but I can show you where they go, and that's really all you need to know. You just need to drag and drop your ROMs from your local computer to the SD card on the Build-A-Cade. I don't know, Zero. I don't know if there's a Satan Hollow. If there was a Satan's Hollow, I would love one. Now, Satan's Hollow, if memory serves, is a flight stick game. There's not a flight stick controller for the Build-A-Cade, so you would basically have to use the joystick and the A button. So I would love to do a Satan's Hollow. I'll have to go out later and look at the artwork on Arcade Graphics on eBay and see if he has, and maybe even Joe Zabel does. But again, with Joe Zabel, your wait time for Joe Zabel artwork is out there. So, but the reason why I go with Arcade Graphics is because he's quick. I mean, I had this art package. I ordered it, and I think 5 or 6 days later, I actually had it. So once you order from him, he prints it, or he has some ready to go, ready to ship. So, and he tells you on his website, I think, on his store, how many of each he currently has in stock. So, boy, I don't know if he has a Satan Hollow. I have a list. I know I'm going to do Robotron. Okay, so our OS is installed successfully. Click on OK. It's going to reboot. You should see the GRS startup screen here shortly. I will say too, for the price that he's got these for, with the TMG 50 code, they're 50% off. So you can't beat that right now. That's the reason why I bought a bunch of them, because I just wanted to build my little 1/6 scale arcade with the artwork that I wanted. There it is. There's Glenn. And then it's going to boot into the RetroPie menu. All right. So, and again, it says one game available. And that game, if you press the A button, is Adventures of Robbie Roto. And press the A button again to get in, to load it. So it's basically going to load the emulator with the game ROM. And there's Robbie Roto. Now that's a landscape version, or a wide version of what's the correct term? Landscape is what I vertical and landscape are the two, or horizontal. This is a horizontal game. So yeah, you can kind of see here how horizontal appears on a vertical screen. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent. So if we coin in here on the bottom, accidentally hit 2. So we'll player 1 start. Turn up the volume all the way. I don't know how to play this game. I never played it. Yeah, so I'm no good at this. So this is your free game that you get with the GRS Build-A-Cade. I'm just going to go back out. And to get back out, you press the coin in button and the player 1 button together, and it gets you back to the menu. All right, so that's how you get up and running. So now I'm going to put my image in, turn it off, pop out the SD card that came with, and we're going to put my imaged SD card, and hopefully this is going to work. Hopefully I didn't blast this image away. All right, so let's fire it up. I had a problem making these images, and I learned that I had to completely wipe the original SD card, the SD card that I'm using as a destination, and then let this utility just copy the image onto the empty SD card, and then I didn't have any issues. Oh, it's going to load Miss Pac-Man automatically. You can set RetroPie so that it loads a game on automatically on startup. So on my Miss Pac-Man over here, it auto starts into Miss Pac-Man. So what I'll do on this one, and you know what? Why not do that live? So I will do that. So it auto starts into Miss Pac-Man. So again, coin in and player 1 to get back to the menu. And as you can see, I have 148 games. I'm going to go down to the menu for dual joystick, and I have 7 games available. So we'll press the A button to get into that menu. And you can see I have a few, but here's Karate Champ. So we'll press the A button there. And it loads it. There we go. There's my Karate Champ, 1/6 scale. Awesome. Love it. They're probably on par with the New Wave Toys Replicades. So they're about the same size. I can bring one over as a size comparison. Here, and let's do that. Again, this is live, and I got nowhere else to be, so. So let's get the Berserk. I'm gonna bring the Berserk over. So this is a New Wave Toys Berserk. I'll stick them side by side and I'll zoom out. It's a little, I think the GRS Build-A-Cades might be a little smaller. Yeah. So there you get a comparison of the two side by side. Hopefully that helps illustrate. I'll kind of tilt it off to the side here. So yes, the New Wave toys are a little bit bigger. And the only other two New Wave toys that I have are Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. So let's, here, I'll bring Dragon's Lair over. And there's Dragon's Lair. So again, the New Wave toys are a little bit bigger. But, you know, not off by much, but I suppose if it matters to you, the GRS Build-A-Cades are a little bit smaller than New Wave toys. So that's Dragon's Lair. And the only other one I have is Space Ace, and those are, the Space Ace and the Dragon's Lair are virtually identical in build. All right, so let's see here. Let's test out. Zoom in a little bit. Coin in. Player one start. And then we got to practice. Our twin joysticks seem to work. I just adjusted my camera a little bit so that the screen comes in a little better. Ooh, good one. It's playable. Wow. Yeah, again, Karate Champ is one of my favorite games. Oh. I spent many a quarter on this game at where I worked. I worked in a grocery store that had this in their lobby. So one of my favorite games. Yay. And this is where I really screw up. I haven't gotten the challenge. See, I can't get through the challenge. I got pretty good at it back in the day, but I don't remember all those moves. I got to get the moves down again. Again, the controls are pretty nice. I mean, for the size, I mean, you can, again, hook up your own USB controller and use your own controls if you want. Ah. Oh man, full point. Jeez. All right. Okay, so let me text my girlfriend here. She's texted me. Oh, I made the board. No. There we go. I made the board. Okay, let me text my gal. I'm going to go back to the menu. And then we'll do a couple of things. I'll show you a couple of things. I am going to turn the volume down, though. Okay. Since my phone is my camera, I need to go. Dear sweetheart. Okay, I let her know I'm still streaming. All right. Okay. Now, I need to bring my chair over here to do this next part. And am I going to be able to do that without breaking anything? Okay. Okay, so now we have that on screen. There we go. Here I am. Let's do, I need the IP address of the Build-A-Cade. And here, well, let me go back to the other view. So to find the IP address, got to go back to options. It should be an option, show IP. Hopefully you all know what an IP address is. If you don't, it's the address that your device has acquired on your network. And it's going to go, again, it's going to go into the RetroPie. So I'm 192.168.1.159. Okay, and I need to remember that so I can access it remotely. And again, this screen, you're in RetroPie now, and so you need a keyboard to get out of it. So I have to hit enter on the keyboard. To get back. All right, so we'll go back. All right. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things. First, I'm going to show you where ROMs go. Okay. We'll pull up a Windows Explorer. I'm going to share that out. Oh, I don't want to share that. Share window. Here we go. Okay, so what did I say the IP address was? So I'm going to browse to the IP address. 192.168.1.159. Oh. Hang on. There's a default ID and password, and all right. The default ID and password is username Pi, password Raspberry, Raspberry. And I will change these eventually. Boom, and there you go. So now you're in the Build-A-Cade. So I'm first going to show you where the ROMs are. And again, it's pretty easy. It's the folder marked ROMs. No, zero, to answer your question, no, you can't switch orientation. The design of the Build-A-Cade is a vertical monitor mount only. There's no way to switch it into vertical. The game, if you run any, if you do choose to run any vertical games, like I can load, since this is a twin stick, I will show you Robotron here in a second. So here's ROMs. And the folder you're gonna, don't mind all of these extra folders. The one that concerns you is the one that says arcade. So ROMs, arcade, and then this is where they all go. You just put your compressed ROM file in this folder and you're done. Okay, so that's all you need to remember is this path. Well, your IP address will be different, but it's just the ROMs arcade folder, and that's where they go. Okay, so now what I want to show you as well is how to set the GRS Build-A-Cade to automatically boot a certain particular image. Now, for that, you need to know the ROM name. So in our case, it would be this one right here, KChamp VS. So we need to go to another folder, and I'm doing this on the fly off the top of my head. So I believe it's under configs. Oh no. Yeah, configs all, and then I believe it's this auto start.sh. Okay, I'm going to need to share this out with you. So we're going to edit. What we're editing now is configs all, and then auto start.sh. But I need to share that. So we're going to go for this window. Okay, so here I'm editing the autostart.sh, and there's a bunch of stuff in here, but this is what the line looks like. And so here I'm going to, right now it's auto starting into Miss Pac-Man, but we're going to change it to KChamp VS. And then all we need to do is save that back out. So close out of there. And then we need to restart the device. So let's do that. I'm gonna to get to the RetroPie menu, emulation station menu. You hit one of the player while in the RetroPie menu. You hit player 1, and then you scroll down to quit. And I'm going to say restart. I'll say restart system, and hit the A button. And yes, I want to really restart. And it should put straight into Karate Champ now. Again, we'll get Glenn's splash screen. I got the audio down. Boom. So now, whenever I power it on, it just boots straight into Karate Champ. So, and again, to get out, it's player 1 and coin in at the same time. You can go back to the menu and pick whatever game you want. So I'm going to go, let's see, let's go back to the dual joystick menu. So you asked about, Zero, you asked about changing the orientation. Again, this is a vertical monitor orientation. Robotron is a horizontal game. And this is how it's going to look. It just basically shrinks the horizontal game into the middle of the screen, basically. So you've got black stripes on both the top and the bottom. And we'll do a coin in. Oh, what happened? Abort, abort. I think this sticky button has got me in trouble here. Again, that's irritating. There we go. Kind of awkward to play on such small controls, but again, you can hook up your own controller. Ooh. Okay. All right. And again, coin in, player 1. Oh, somehow, now see, now I'm in the RetroPie boot prompt, and I don't know how I got there. And just to get back, I'm just going to turn it off, turn it back on. So that's it. I did the build. Hoo-wee. Yeah, Zero, it works pretty well. I mean, even the horizontal games, I mean, you can make them out. And again, you've got that HDMI option. You can only switch over to HDMI, plug it into a TV, and you've got your bigger screen. So all right. Well, that's all I got for today, folks. I just wanted to go through that build. It went a lot better than my first GRS Build-A-Cade build. I swear. I mean, that was frustrating with that DSI cable, that DSI ribbon cable. That's probably the one thing I would say to you is to be real careful on is when you handle that DSI ribbon cable and put it into the connector. Again, the connectors, you just pull gently up slightly to open that connector up, and then you slot that DSI ribbon cable in until it stops, and then you push it the connector back down to secure it in. That's how those work. I didn't know that going in. I hadn't worked with DSI ribbon cable connectors before, and it threw me for a loop. So anywho, it's done. I'm happy with it. It's beautiful. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. If you did, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. Helps me out. I like to see that number go up. It's not a biggie to me, but you know, each time it goes up, I'm happy. Means people appreciate the content that I'm producing. And so what's next for the Quarterdeck Arcade? Well, I do have an Arcade 1-Up on order. I will go ahead and tell you, I ordered Class of 81, the deluxe. So that's coming. And the reason why I bought it is because I wanted Miss Pac-Man. That kind of completes my nostalgic priority here as far as reacquiring Arcade 1-Ups. And I got to tell you, I think I'm going to take a break for a while from buying Arcade 1-Ups. I think I'm going to the next thing I'm waiting for is the Glenn's full-size GRS FU edition Build-A-Cade. So I don't think I'm going to be buying anything for a while. I think I'm going to take a break and see what happens in the community. I'll still watch, you know, for massive sales, and I'll still check Synergy for anything that might be available. So the Class of 81 is coming this week. That'll probably be next week's stream. We'll do a live build of that. And then I think I'm done for a while. I'm happy with where the arcade's at right now. Again, if a massive deal comes by, I'll probably take advantage of it, but I'm pretty happy right now. So we'll let the arcade sit for a while, and I'll concentrate on getting my GRS Build-A-Cades built, and the arcade will go from there. So what are we going to do next week? We're going to do the Class of 81. I hope you had fun. I hope you had fun watching, hanging out with me, getting this built. And I hope you learned something if you're going to get this product for yourself. Again, that code TMG50, I believe, is still good on the GRS website, the T-Sticks website. Take advantage of that. You know, at least get one and putz with it. You're going to be buying other things for it. You're going to be buying the Raspberry Pi or the Viper board. There's two separate Build-A-Cade builds, I think. There's one for the Viper. There's one for the Raspberry Pi. I did all Raspberry Pis, but you're going to shell out money for the Pi if you go that route. You're going to shell out money for a power cord, and you're going to shell out money for any extra SD cards if you want to do custom images. So keep that in mind. You're going to be spending additional money on top of the $50 that you're buying the GRS Build-A-Cade for. So I hope that was all helpful. I love these little guys. Once I got it down, once I got working with Emulation Station and RetroPie a little bit down, I'm not an expert, but I know where to Google. So I got my image to where it needed to be. I'm happy. Now I can blast that copy down to multiple GRS Build-A-Cades and be done. So I'm looking forward to this winter, because this is my winter project, working on these Build-A-Cades. Thank you to Glenn for making such a great thing for the community, and making it cheap for the last several weeks. So highly appreciate that, Glenn. Shout out to you. Shout out to T-Sticks and GRS, all the team, for quite a neat design for a Raspberry Pi. And so thank you. I've pretty much covered everything. I think I'm going to close out the stream now. We're over 3 hours now. Again, come back, reference this video if you need to help you out in places, putting things together. That sticky point with that top part, getting that into place, you're going to get frustrated with that. Just keep working it until it slots in. And yeah, so that's the GRS Build-A-Cade. I'm going to go one last shot. There she is. Let's turn it a little bit so you can see the artwork and I don't fall out of my chair. There we go. There's a cool shot. So very happy. It's beautiful. Can't wait to show my gal. She just got home. So, well, anywho, my usual shtick. I really hope you guys have a great week, a blessed week. Hug your relatives. Tell them you love them, because like Glenn always says, tomorrow's never promised. And I learned that the hard way last week. And so just remember to always tell people that you love them. And until next week, I got next.